psychology. My background was in business, and I've done it most of my life. And you can learn in business how to do finance, marketing, but my biggest challenge was working with people and understanding people and HR and all that stuff. It was really a big challenge for me. I couldn't, sometimes I was over emotional with people. So I started to do researches, and I started to study psychology, and I didn't find any answers there either. And then I found the vector psychology, and that's what I'm going to tell you about, vector psychology. About 20 years ago, a little bit more, 20 and something years ago, two Russian professors, they created system, and they named it system vector psychology. It's based on Freud work. His first vector, he didn't call it vector, but based on his work, they created and they systemized it, so it's going to be easier to understand, and most important, it's easier to diagnose psychosomatics. Nowadays, psychology, unfortunately, they cannot really help because they cannot diagnose the problem. Psychologists, especially psychiatrists, because they could, they're the one who work with medication. Psychologists, worst case scenario, he can tell you wrong thing, but psychiatrists, he can prescribe you wrong thing because they cannot diagnose. And that's what system vector psychology is all about, diagnosing and helping to solve all these psychosomatics. By the way, it's also ADHD, OCD, and much, much more, and how it works. Vector psychology, it's correlated and connected directly to evolution. So I'll start from the evolution, and first, it was every vector, it was 8 vectors in total, 8. Every vector was like a step on a bridge toward the evolution between the animal until we became those humans. Because we couldn't just become humans one day. It took us a while, and it took some process. And that's what vector psychology is all about. So first vector I'll start, it's going to be audio. There is audio, there is visual, and other vectors. An audio vector person in the tribe in ancient times, 30,000 years ago, let's say, we didn't have doors to lock our house, and there was a lot of danger in savannah. It was not really safe. So humans, any animals, by the way, any plants, they adapt into its landscape in order to survive. Our first main role, instinct, is survival. So like camel, it starts to drink 40 gallons to survive in desert. So one of our person in the tribe, he starts to have better hearing, and he can hear better than anybody else in the tribe. So he can be our night watcher. He's gonna watch us at night. We cannot lock our doors, we say, and we need somebody to survive. And that person, because all the energy that he perceives through the ear, and is very introvert. That's how you diagnose also. Versus like visual, or like part of the brain outside, extrovert, very extrovert person. Because ear, it's directly connected to the brain, because there is other vectors, but I'll talk about them. It's gonna be like training, like 3 months training. It's a lot of information, so I just wanna give you just introduction. So because it goes directly and connected right into the brain, all the problems like schizophrenia, bipolar, autism, all this stuff can have only audio vector person. There is other vector in the tribe. For example, visual, they cannot have schizophrenia. It's only audio. And person, if you take a child, and parents usually they don't know, but if they scream on the child, it starts to kind of close and it connected to the ear. It starts, that can lead to autism. When it's too much noise in the house, when they're screaming on him, it can start that autism problem. And sometimes comes things even worse than that. Sometimes there is some families, they tell their child, you're an idiot, I shouldn't even have you, and all this bad stuff. That's schizophrenia right there. That's how it develops an audio vector person, schizophrenia. Now, vector psychology can diagnose also every vector, so they can help to recover all these problems. Whatever I covered, all these panic attacks, all that covers probably 90-something%. So first you diagnose the person, then you diagnose the problem, and then we can recover it. But for example, I can help the child with all these issues until 12 years old, maybe 80-90%. After that, 14 years, 15 years old, schizophrenia might be a problem, but autism, I might work with autism, but I have to even work with his parents. I don't even need to see, I need to see the child, but the parents is actually what causes most of the psychosomatics in the children. All the children that have psychosomatics, it's mainly directly from, every psychosomatic works differently, but I'll talk about the audio. Now, that person in the tribe, his main role is to watch us at night. He always focusing on his hearing, on his sound, and that's what's balancing his biochemistry. When you see person in the bus, sitting, put the hoodie, glasses, earphones, he wants to disconnect from this world, because once that person closes its eyes, it's balanced its biochemistry. It's focusing on the sound. And when he has migraines, and there is different types of migraines. If it's audio vector person, deep migraine with those strong depression. By the way, all this suicide, it's more than 90% also audio people. All the problems with drug addictions, it's also audio vector people. And when he focusing on the sound, when he really focus, balances biochemistry, and that's how he get rid of this migraine. Person who has strong headache, he just sits in the room, really try to kind of focus on the sound, try to listen what's going on maybe in another room, try to really focus, balance its biochemistry, the migraine will be gone. So that's how it's treated, all these psychosomatics. Now, these people, usually it's very intelligent people, because that vector, it's that in evolution, it gave us the idea. That's the first species in the tribe who started to think. The idea, that's what differentiated us from that animal instinct. And once the idea born, oh, I can take and make the stone eggs, and now I can break that coconut or something, that was audio vector. Now, because they're always looking for these ideas, and it leads to the meaning, they always look in the meaning in the life. They try to find the meaning. And people, I'll give you examples of these people: Einstein, Elon Musk, Mozart, because they hearing very sensitive, it can be great musicians. Google partners, what is they call Sergey and Larry, all this usually did jobs also was quite audio. So that's how you first need to diagnose, and next thing, that person, because they try to find a meaning for the life and living on the Mars, they try to create something extraordinary. But when they don't have this meaning, when they lose that meaning, and if they've been abused in the childhood, and if they have secondary vector that I'm going to touch later, because it also depends on there is first vector, dominant, then comes secondary, dermal, for example, the skin one. So in certain vector system that they have, they can lose empathy towards people, and they can start shooting kids in school. It's also the vector child can do those kind of things. By the way, they're looking for this meaning. It's also, I think it's not the way they have to kind of focus what's my meaning in this life, because like person body has about billions of cells, and we have billions of people on the planet. And if you look at the body, all the cells, if they connected to each other, communicate with each other, they make our body breathe and live and further. Same thing, people, they need to focus on humanity versus on my meaning. What's our meaning? Because when you really focus on yourself too much, that when you only want to consume and for yourself, what is me, that's the cancer cell right there. That's no good. It has to be. So we don't have much time. I can start the other vector, but just so you have idea, it's all it's new psychology, and it gives a lot of information about all the psychosomatics, and also you can apply it in business and anything else. You will know what kind of person is this, what to expect from this person, and that's why one person is lying, one is very trustworthy, one is motivated with money, one is not. It explains all that. It's very interesting. And right now I have small videos on YouTube.